come in the past like few months, especially. So yeah, that's it on my end. Challenges bar, but nothing too challenging for the holidays. So I'll pass it on to Gabe.
Alrighty, thank you. All right, so last week we have delivered the hyper accessible passports. So as you know, which means now you're able to get a DeFi passport without just by signing a message. We also delivered ENS support, so everyone who has an ENS now they will be able to. We're going to recognize your ENS in our app essentially. And we also added a chain selector. Right now it's with Polygon. This is basically for groundwork for what's coming up next year. So, but we just wanted to surface that as a reflection of what happened on the back end as well. So that's that. We also have done a lot of progress on the ARCx bot, and hopefully, this is the week we are releasing. We want to release that bot this week in the next few days, which brings me to the next point. That what happens in the next 2 weeks? We want to release the bot. We'll start working on suggestions and leaderboards, and what that means is now when you view a score in your passport page, not only you'll have explanations on why you got the score that you got, but also you'll have suggestions on how you can improve your score. So we're starting working on that, and also we're adding leaderboards, which basically allows you to compare with other users on a specific score. That, and finally we have like any big project, we have some technical debt that accumulated over the months, and this week is a perfect week to knock off some of these items. Shout outs I really want to thank the entire team and the community. So first, the entire team, every month or so we had a new member adding to our team. It's been a tremendous experience to work alongside you, and it just every time I work on this project, I really feel like at home, and I'm looking forward to the next day. And every morning I work with passion, and this is really due to the entire team, and of course the community for keeping up with us, for encouraging us as well. And we can't wait to reward you next year. So really thank you for the support, and yeah, just thank you for being part of the journey with us. And challenges, I want to wish everyone happy holidays. Make sure you have fun. and yeah, that's it for engineering for this week, and for this year, I guess. I want to pass it on to Kale for data.
All right, GM sirs. The GM stuff has become a key part of my vocabulary. So thank you everyone for bringing that into my rotation. Last week, so a lot of the stuff that's happening in the data world is pretty consistent. So we should have a release of an analytics newsletter this week. So you'll see more content around that. We've been getting heaps of good feedback there. So whenever you see the analytics newsletter, right at the bottom, there's like a bar that basically says, what would you rate it between 1 and 10? And you can leave some feedback and things like that. I'd really, really love for anyone and everyone to leave a review. Like, the more feedback we get in our analytics newsletter, the better we can make it. So please review it. Tell me what you love and what you hate about it, so we can keep building the stuff that you want to see. There'll be more custom scores development work. We've got a huge pipeline. Like, Liam and Stuart have been doing an awesome job here. There'll be some more work being done in the background there. We completed the scaling of the data warehouse. So for the last few weeks, we've been just tidying, refactoring, scaling, cost optimizing our data warehouse, and just making sure it scales once we bring in hundreds of chains and hundreds of projects. So that's been completed, and it's all primed again to go a bit forward. And then the last thing that we started was the scaling of the score builder infrastructure. So, the backend team has spent a lot of time scaling their systems and making sure that it can handle the huge volume of scores that we're building. And now from the data end of things, we're looking at how do we scale this from a time perspective more so than a compute perspective? How do we turn scores around within a day, not within 3 days kind of thing? So that's kind of what we've been working on last week. For this week, we're going to have a release of another custom score. I don't want to mention it just in case it's You know, someone hasn't mentioned it yet. I think it's gone live in the UI, so maybe people have actually seen it. We'll do another release of a newsletter this week. Sorry, excuse me. And one thing that's not here that I've updated, it just hasn't come through, is just missed bug fixes and improvements. So leading up into Christmas, just tiny little things, just making sure everything is happy and everything keeps ticking along. So big shout outs to the community. Like, you guys don't realize how much your comments mean to us all. We actually read every single thing in our Discord. And there's a lot of times where we'll see something, and I even will speak on behalf of Kerman, he'll screenshot it and put it in internal communications, go, hey, someone has said this. What does that mean? How, like, you know, you guys are doing awesome or you guys are doing shit kind of thing. So it's really, really nice. We read everything you put in the community. And I, in particular, loves to read everything, and you'll see me react to everything all the time. I just love lurking around and seeing what's going on. Challenges. So I'll take a different vein to having fun. Mine is if a fire burns in your stack and there's no one there to watch it, doesn't make a sound. So I think Christmas is going to be a really, really interesting time for us all of how good are our monitoring systems. Do we pick up issues? Do they self-correct themselves? All that kind of stuff. So Christmas is going to be fun in realizing, are we going to come back to a burnt forest, or are we going to come back to everything happy? So that's basically my update. So Liam's away for this week, so I'll hand over to Hugh to do operations.
GM everyone, thanks so much, Kale. So last week, a couple of updates from me, working on a public roadmap, a public jobs and recruitment page, and started refreshing some of our documentation. And all of this is going to be migrated over to Notion in what we've called the ARC. So that was like a big piece of work, and it's still kind of getting finalized before we announce it and share it with everyone. So that was like one part. Also, we spent a bit of time doing conceptual design work for Borrow, so splitting out the feature into multiple kind of like milestones, and thinking through like what would the UX be and what would the actual UI be. You know, like when we implement reputation-based borrowing, there is going to be a lot of difference in these like design conventions that you typically see from borrowing products, and we actually think that there's, you know, a really good opportunity to just make that whole experience feel safer, feel more comfortable, you know, feel more reassuring that you're not going to get completely liquidated in your positions. So we really want to spend a lot of time thinking through the design side of this, that was a chunk of last week, and that will continue into this week coming up. And then the final one here is, as Gabe mentioned, we've like locked down passport hyper accessibility. We're just going to send out some comms for that pretty much straight after this call. This week, Christmas and borrow spec definition, so continuing work on that. So it's going to be like worked over the Christmas period and into the new year. Quick shout outs, like there's a lot of love on this call, but I just wanted to say thank you to Kerman and everyone at the ARCx team plus community for welcoming me into the team this year. It's been like a really big change coming into this setting from my day job, and the transition wasn't always very smooth, given that I was like migrating out, like kind of doing two things at one time. But yeah, I appreciate all the patience and all the love. This community is really good at that. So feel very honored and privileged to be here. And then challenges, just actually getting rest and relaxation. It has been a really big year for us, and I think like, you know, taking the time to switch off, knowing that, you know, crypto is a marathon, not a sprint, I think is really important, so that we we make sure that we're giving ourselves what we need in terms of, you know, rest and so on. And that's it. I'm not sure who's next.
I think that's it.
I should be next.
Joel, if he's
I just want to start off by saying apologies to anyone watching the stream. I think I was on the wrong screen at the start, so you might have not heard much, but I'm still getting used to the stream, so that'll be fixed next week. Last week I'd done the social cuts, and this week I'm working on the investor newsletter and some more social cuts. And it's also Christmas, so I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and hope you have a good time off. Shout outs to HopeFan1 for sharing his opinion and a great article about Vitalik. It's always good to see, again, community members inputting feedback and sharing their thoughts and stuff. It's great to see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool. Thanks for that, Joel, and Hugh for those kind of words. To wrap up, so yeah, to summarize a lot of what everyone said, this year, when we kind of think about it, has been getting the base kind of thing of like, what does a passport look like? How should it work? Everything from the technical implementations to the product experience, and then of course getting a really talented team in place to execute on it. And it's 2022 is going to be a really exciting year because we can actually start capitalizing on all this kind of like really kind of foundational work that we spent almost a year doing now. So, and the main way we see that manifesting is use cases for scores being like one of those main focuses. So it's been great to get out the passport, get kind of the Merkle root update and all these other components like all together. But next week will be all about putting them to use, so you can use them in really cool ways, and your on-chain reputation will become much more real than it is right now. And I think just broadly speaking, across the ecosystem, it definitely feels like 2022, we're going to have a lot of kind of social Web3 reputation, identity kind of themes becoming at the forefront, given the dire need for it. So all that to say, it's been a great year, and we're really looking forward to the following one. But until then, we'll catch you all, and hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Goodbye, everyone.